Here we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ground down, uncross your legs. Put both soles of your feet firmly on the ground beneath you, whether you're sitting or standing. And let's take 3 full breaths, taking those energetic roots deep into the ground, right down into the core of the earth, connecting to Mother Earth. Dropping into the space of our hearts and synchronizing our own heartbeat with the heartbeat of Mother Earth. Just imagine we could do that. And then when we notice we're in a good, safe space, we can go ahead and close our eyes and roll them up as if we're looking through the crowns of our heads. We keep our eyes rolled up there, and then we say, even if I don't know how, to co-create the best golden goddess circle now for everyone who ever participates, so that we are connected to our highest good and can easily, gracefully, and joyfully manifest our highest good. All I do know is it is so now, and I am fulfilled. I delete all that could stop me, and I download everything I need to do so now with grace, ease, and joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is, so it shall be, or something even better. One more breath. Opening our eyes, recognizing how blessed we are right here, right now, to take this next breath. And then taking all that gratitude into our bubble of reality. Welcome. And let's dive into a topic that might create all kinds of feelings inside of you. How do we harness the power of rejection? Is it a power? Is there a blessing in rejection? Think about it. If we say everything is energy, then if we have a powerful energy coming towards us that's a no, right? No, no. It's up to us what we do with that energy. Would you agree? Is it true that we will encounter rejection, those no's, at possibly many different moments in our life? Is that true? Come on, stay awake. Yes, it is true. Good. So, how we respond to those moments of rejection, to those moments of no, is vital to our experience of life. Would you agree? Because if I'm kind of frightened of those rejections, if we're doing a lot to avoid that rejection, if we're actually scared of the no's, then how can we actually authentically and powerfully navigate the yeses? If we're sort of going mid lane and doing the sort of maybe, not sure yet, let me think about it, where inside of us, if you've ever read my book, the hell yeses are just as powerful as the hell no's. But because of all our interesting programming, we can be afraid of the no. And we can do all kinds of interesting things to just never get close to the no, to sort of stay safe. Do you know what I mean? So we might get into the habit of never having those clarifying conversations where we get someone to literally give me a yes or give me a no. Come on. Don't give me excuses. Don't explain, but just say, is it a yes or is it a no? Do you want to come? Do you not want to come? We often don't go there because we'd rather stay in that ambiguous state of rather than feel that sting of rejection. Isn't it true that it feels like a sting when rejection comes, when somebody just says no to you, to your person, to your resources, to your knowledge, to your skills and talents? What if you get no's? Well, those no's can either break us down. I'm sorry, I've got something in my eye, and even though I've got eye drops, I was not able to get out of it. So I'm totally fine. I'm not emotional. It's just my eye's got something on. When we handle those no's in a way that empowers us, it becomes very much more joyful, but also way more effective in creating what we actually want because we're no longer not doing something because we're so scared that we might then get a no. Is that making sense? So, can you see that harnessing the no's is a power? Cool. So, why do we do this and how can we do that? I have asked and researched a lot about Marcus Aurelius, a Stoist, right? And Stoicism has some really good tips about how to navigate the nose and how to transform that thing of rejection into a power. Every no propels us forward. Think about it. If you look at the past times where you received no's, that door was closed, isn't it true that a better door opened? I did that with my timeline, and I'd invite you to do that right now too. Get out a pen and paper and just jot down the things that come to mind, those moments in time that come to mind now in your memory, where you know that a no that seemed so painful, so oof, was actually great. If I go back my just recent timeline, I can see that in my search for this Lichtwerk, the house that I'm now living and working in. I received a lot of no's on my way until I got this house. And the fun thing is that one of the no's was just in this street. It was a semi-detached house. So it was a house, you know, where the houses stick together. And it was the last part of these attached houses. And it had a cute little garden. It had a cute little healing room at the top and a sort of turret-like sort of thing. And it could have worked. And I had said yes to that place because I had already been looking for 9 months. And I was getting frustrated. And I was like, well, this will do. Maybe this will just do. I'll just do this. And then I got a no because they wouldn't fence off the garden, so I couldn't bring my dogs with me. And I felt a little bummed. But I didn't feel very bummed at all because I had by then learned that every no is getting me closer to the yes. And now that I'm living just, I don't know, like 50 meters from that house that said no to me, I am so grateful they said no because I would have signed that contract. I would have moved in there and I would have never got this oasis that I'm living in now. And I have many stories like that, and I'm sure you do too. So come up with at least one and write that down and say, that no really propelled me forward. Because we've got to acknowledge that to be able to change our mindset, to be able to accept those no's are great. That sting of rejection is actually like a homeopathic medicine that's moving us towards the direction of our dreams. So a no, a rejection can also be a disguised invitation to something greater. So next time you hear a no, you inside say, oh, another disguised invitation to something greater? What about the men that maybe said no to you? Since we're women here, and most of you are hetero, but maybe some of you are not hetero, then take a woman, so a romantic partner. Say someone that you were madly in love with, that you had a deep crush on, said no to you. Looking back now, wasn't that a blessing? I remember that from my first marriage where I had married really young. I was 22 years old when I married a guy 22 years older than I. Deeply loved this guy. We had to have two sons together. I'm very grateful for the long marriage that we had. And yet, when he left me for another woman, I was devastated. I couldn't understand it. I was like, how is this possible? I'm young and beautiful. This should only happen to, I don't know, older women when they're replaced for someone younger. I wasn't even replaced for someone younger. I was just replaced for someone different. And all my dreams of my family being safe and united until we part and all that were gone. But now looking back, and I love my ex-husband dearly for who he is, when I now see him, nothing in me would want that life anymore. It's like we walk two completely different paths. And my path where I am now could only be this beautiful as I'm experiencing now because I was able to let go and transform that sting of rejection, that painful, crushing no, into something that was going to serve me better. So what we want to do in those moments, here's some good tips, is we want to remove those negative thoughts, those self-bashing thoughts of, oh my God, now you see it, you're just not worth it, yada, yada, into some more empowering thoughts. We want to remove those thoughts from our mind, those negative, judging thoughts. And we want to take that energy of someone, something rejecting us, right? That's our energy coming back to us, and fuel it into our own lives by using that energy to do something new, something different, even if it's just learning a new skill or going places that you've never gone to, talking to people that you've never talked to, dressing a different way, getting a different hairstyle, but do something different. The rejection is that pivotal point where you get to reconsider something, do that reset that we were talking about last week. That's why I'm honing in on this reset energy, this refocus, redefine your own value. Those are those moments too, because what will happen is that because we're so judgmental towards ourselves, most likely we will take that no to mean that we're not worth it, that someone doesn't see our worth. But we've got to learn that our value does not depend on someone else's approval or validation. Say it to yourself. My value does not depend on someone else's validation or approval. But how often do us women especially seek that approval and validation? I know I still catch myself doing it. And those are those pitfalls, those are those mistakes we make. Because if we're still seeking the validation and approval of others, whose lives and dreams are we living? Theirs, not ours. The only approval and validation that you need is inside of you. It has to feel right and good for you. And that's where intuition comes in. Do you see how we keep closing circles also, I hope, in the GGC? I hope you're experiencing that. All threads come together. We keep getting back into self-love, valuing ourselves. And here's another tip. Ignore those who ignore you. Ignore those who ignore you. I bet you've all had moments and experiences where people just downright ignored you. I know I have many, many, many times. Do you know that saying is first they will laugh at you, then they will fight you, and then they'll join you? Haven't you all noticed those moments too? How often was I ridiculed for all my work that I do? Angels, seriously, Joy, chakras, really all this spiritual shit, right? Who believes that? Yada, yada. I mean, yeah, and that's okay. But now I'm noticing that then, especially when COVID started coming up, right? We noticed the next thing, they start fighting you. So when they start fighting you, you know you're gaining power. If someone invests their energy to take you down, that means that you're above them. You've reached something that where you're becoming threatening to them. And that unfortunately often also happens in relationships, doesn't it? Especially if we see the dynamic of so many women for so many years having visited transformational workshops, done so much personal growth. That's a challenge for a relationship because every single time you grow and expand and become a better version of yourself, your partner can either grow with you or the gap is going to become bigger and bigger and bigger. And here's my little question to you. Is it just me? Or are you also noticing that there are so many people stuck in their comfort zone who know they would need to change something? They know they could even change something, but they just won't. They won't invest any energy in there because the pain of being in that comfort zone isn't really big enough. And if I look at how most men, not all, of course, but most men operate, they won't do nothing until they're virtually on the ground in absolute disaster zone. I have so many great friends that I admire for who they are. But when I talk to them about, you're bringing burnout, you're sort of on the cusp of depression. You need to de-stress, my friend. You need some downtime. You need to friggin' relax. Have you ever thought about that? And say, I don't have time. I said, but the price might be pretty high if you don't do it. Yeah, they won't do anything. And that sometimes really frustrates me. It used to deeply frustrate me. And now I realize, okay, that's another form of rejection. Because I notice in those moments when I know I have so much I can offer you. A lot of my friends, I gift a lot of things. I should just come on over to the Lichtwerk. You've just had an operation. You're dealing with all kinds of stuff. Come, just come. Just give me half an hour of your time. You will feel the difference. Do you think they'd even move here? Even if you gift it to them. What do we know then? Ignore those who ignore you. Refocus on those who do appreciate you, but don't stop giving. Don't stop doing what you love doing. That's the best revenge, really. And not out of a revenge point of view, even, but you are demonstrating your own value by doing the things that are important to you. So don't ever give up on those. Rather, showcase your resilience. I remember that because we were talking about my first divorce, right? After going through that dip of depression and really having to grieve, accepting that this was happening, right? And then grieving that relationship, grieving those, we were married for 13 years, right? Grieving and letting that go. I noticed that there was a space opening up where I could really focus that energy on myself. And it just happened to also be when I was just starting out my business in the beauty industry. I had just rented the new location where I was going to start big and have this beautiful spa. So part of me was terrified. Suddenly I was a single mom. I had 2 kids. I had never run a business, a 3D business like that. I was in total no land. But we have to embrace that unknown and trust that this is happening because it's right for me, because there's more in me that I can now show, that I can bring out into the world. So if you're at that kind of point now, this is your invitation. This is me kind of giving you that little nudge to say, go do it, go do it. Because by starting to do those new things, you're growing. And that means you're not going to end up crushed and bitter from rejection, but you're growing and expanding and becoming a better person every time. So I see it like that. Yeah, that little nudge from the universe. Oops, it's not a rejection, it's a redirection. And if we start seeing it like that, we're able to embrace the unknown and venture out into new horizons and discover more of our potential. So how does that sound now when you look at the times when you were rejected? Wasn't it actually a blessing? So the next time you feel rejected or unseen or unheard, here's another tip. Just stay calm. Notice your own emotions. Notice what comes up. Notice what insecurities come up. What are you making this mean about you? And then remember again, my value does not depend upon the approval or validation or recognition of others. My value is inherent in me. And then you can say, I love myself. And you could tap underneath your left arm. Watch out, it's mirrored. Tap underneath your left arm. And let's say that sentence again. And we can say, my value depends on how deeply I love me. It does not depend on the approval or recognition of others. I value myself. I love myself. I respect myself. And I honor myself. Good. And breathe. So, being able to do a pivot, a reset, a positive integration of anything that's going on, even if it's a no, is, I think, emotional mastery. And when we are able to practice emotional mastery, we become masters at intuitive manifestation too. And we become those magical creators of life. And I know that right now, so much of the veil that once was is gone. And if you're willing to now just look and be brave. You have it all at your fingertips. We know everything. We can gain any kind of knowledge just by swiping on our phones. And we have this connection where we always know what's right for us. So there's really nothing to be afraid of. So I'm going to get my beautiful co-hosts into the circle with me now. And I am tapping my courage points. Do you see that? And those courage points are helping us. Yolanda, you coming into the circle now or not? She's kind of hesitant. And then we say, I love and accept myself with all my fear of rejection at my deepest level and from the very first time I felt rejected. I love and accept myself with all my fear of the no at my deepest level and from the very first time that I felt scared. And I choose now to let go of all this fear and step into my power of courage. I am so brave. And I am so worthy of creating the best life ever now. And breathe. And now notice what's changed, what's different. And Nicole, tell me how you are. You're on, speak.
Yeah, I'm great. I mean, this topic is perfect, and it fits in my life at the moment very well. And may I share my,
Please
yeah, I
do.
have just, maybe you remember, I have been mentioning that I have some struggle in the place where I'm living. We are basically thrown out of the house, and I went through a process of really like, why is this happening? And we are asking the empowering question, why this is happening for me, right? But in this moment, I was actually thinking, why is this happening now? We had a very tough year anyway, and we only moved to this place 1 year ago, and I have just unpacked the last box, and I was like so happy, and I love this place. So it's not like a place where I'm not happy. And still, I feel since a long time that there is something else where I should focus on. And so this rejection of not being able to live here anymore and basically not being even talked to, but only through official lawyers and so on, is making me really like, I was feeling so shitty and like so sad and also very angry. I was like thinking, when I leave here, I do this and that, you know, just for a moment. This is not my nature, but I really felt that this was coming out. And this was a bit like you said, also getting, finding out what emotions are you having and working with them. And one day, it was last Wednesday, I was really like devastated and I had so many thoughts in my head. I was thinking I'm exploding. And on the next day, I thought, today I'm withdrawing completely. I'm doing this, what you are also very much recommending, to really withdraw and find your inner peace and stop the bus. And so I went into my little room, which I closed my door and I didn't come out the whole day. And I turned off my phone and really I was reading, I was drawing cards, I was breathing a lot and using all kinds of tools that I had. And that really, I was thinking, wow, this is really emotional mastery in a way. I felt this, what you have been describing. And I was so grateful that I have these tools and we all have them. And trusting that you always come up with the right tool that helps you in that moment. When you stop, then you come up with it. Go out in nature, embrace a tree and talk to it. And I was reading a lot. And I was reading a book that actually you recommended to me. And I brought it here because I don't know if you can see it.
You can't see it. It's called Pussy,
Because it's called,
Reclamation.
exactly, it's called Pussy, a Reclamation. I tell you, this book really is so revealing. And I mean, you know much more about it
Yeah, one
because you,
second. So let's just say the title again. So it's called Pussy, a Reclamation by Regina Thomas Hauer. I keep recommending this book. Doesn't work with the green screen.
Doesn't work.
It's a fabulous book that really teaches us so much about how us women function. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, I gave that book to Nicole and said, this is your next step, sister. Read this book, right? And at the beginning, you were a little resistant. I mean, the title can really trigger a lot of people. But that's also the point of this book. So please continue. You were reading this book and then you had all kinds of insights, right?
I had all kinds of insights. Also, how we can really step into our power, also using our female power, our really deep female power, which is, and she is calling it the pussy, right? And which actually is an insult, which oftentimes we are is being used in our society. And actually, it's a powerful word because it's all creation comes through it. Everybody has a connection to it in one way or the other, right? So, and I realized I'm not so connected with it. I don't use it as a tool to manifest also, as a not consciously. And through the book, I really, this word rapture, I didn't even know what it means. I looked it up. In German, it means Verzückung, to be really like excited about what is happening in your life. Like and it is far away from sexuality. It is really being happy when you are out and you see a flower blossoming, or if you see a child playing, or like someone singing on the street, or a bird flying. Like whenever you see something that is magical, and I think there is a lot, but sometimes we don't notice it. And this rapture, this Verzückung is like so beautiful. And when you feel that, then you attract even more and more of this yeah, radiant power as a result, in a way.
Yes.
And I really liked that. And once I got over this, and I really, I encourage you to read this book. It might, like, you might face some, how do you say, you might reject, you find maybe rejection from yourself towards it, right? So, and I even was talking with my husband about it, and it seems so strange, like a strange topic to us, because we have been brought up, even most of the time with our mothers, not talking about how to use this power. And I mean, I have to become over 50 years to find that out. And I find it so encouraging. And yeah,
and we can definitely, if there's interest there, because the circle keeps changing, right? And we see different women circling through. So I just want to prevent repeating myself. That's one of my things, and I want to keep it all fresh and new. But we can definitely go into the book Pussy by Regina Thomas Hauer. You can all hear me. Pussy, Regina Thomas Hauer. I don't know if it's available in Dutch. I've seen that question in the chat. We can go into the teachings there. I'd be happy to help teach that, because I did the School of Womanly Arts with Regina Thomas Hauer. Thank goodness I was one of the last ones, the last class that she still held in those days. So I'd be happy to share more about that. We've got a lot of fun things coming in April anyway in the Golden Goddess Circle. I think I was sharing it in a couple of previous circles. We've got a beautiful womb ritual coming in April. So I'm going to share the dates in the recording. They're going to be 2 dates where we're first going to tune into the sacred energy of the archetypes of women. That's session 1. And in session 2, we're going to do a sacred womb ritual with a womb keeper, and she's called Francesca. She's been teaching this for quite a while now, and she's coming in and she's going to host or co-host together with me, and then we're all going to be able to dive into that. And maybe that's a great new kind of topic to then dive deep into, and then we can go into the pussy topics too. Great input. Thank you, Nicole. You also noticed, I remember when we were chatting about this, you said that after you had done this day of retreat, when you came back to your family, although you did it in the same house, right? But when you kind of re-entered the family vortex, you noticed that everyone else was also in a better mood.
Absolutely. That was fantastic to see. And so it's sometimes good to withdraw and figure your things out, and it shifts the whole energy in your field. And I really encourage everyone to do this whenever you are stuck also in a situation, right? And I really learned through that exactly what you have been explaining to us before, that this wrapping, an ugly wrapping of something, right, might be still a beautiful present inside. So when you see that, and you see that rejection you might have been facing is also a chance to really define or redefine your goals. And in my case, I'm living in the city, and I want since a long time to move out. And I take this as a chance now. I'm not looking for a place just the next street or the next house. It has to be something more radiant, much more like that is completely new. And I'm open for that now. And I'm looking at the situation as something really great and positive.
So let's applaud Nicole for her reset that she did all on her own, right? Kudos. I'm going to give you 5 signs that you might need a reset. And you've just been saying some of those just at the end now, Nicole. One is you need a reset when you are dreaming too small. When you're doing the, oh, I'll make it work, I'll kind of bend it into place, whether it's a relationship, a house, a job, or whatever. When you're kind of making it work, you're dreaming too small. You've lowered your standards because you have, and that's sign number 2, you have allowed the standards of others to become yours. And that can be a tricky one. So yes, we can sometimes overestimate our own ability and self to reach goals. We can sometimes say, oh, I'm going to do that like in 1 week, and then it actually takes a month. Yes, but usually we kind of lower our standards to sort of adapt to the general standards, because we maybe feel a little uncomfortable standing out and say, no, what, I want something better than that. That's not good enough for me. And how often do we do that in relationships? And that doesn't mean that we don't compromise in relationships. No, we all know it's a dance, right? But if you are tolerating things that actually are not okay, that are actually way beneath your standard of what is okay, then you are training others to treat you that way. And usually they will stack onto that. Oh, if this is okay, let's see if that is okay. Because someone, and unfortunately, that we're living in a narcissistic world, right? So that thinking of what can I get out of something? How can I use others for my benefit is pretty prevalent. But if you're going into a relationship there and you're not clear on your boundaries, and you keep lowering your standards and say, okay, well, at least he's not physically abusing me, or at least he's still, I don't know, buying me flowers once a year, that's good enough. It's not going to get you where you really want. So we want to dream big. We want to dream big. We want to set our standards high and be adaptable and okay with rejection on the way, because they say, okay, obviously that wasn't quite it yet. I can't tell you how often when I do relationship coaching, especially with women, when they're manifesting their new dream partner or their soulmate, how often they will be okay with a 60% hit. And I say, why would you do that? If you know your values, you know what you want out of a relationship, why are you saying yes to the first guy that appears and is maybe a 60%? Why would you do that? That doesn't mean that you can't connect to those kind of people, but don't then try and make them into your 100%. They never were. Maybe they can grow into that, but it's unlikely. So dream big. And here's the next mistake: stop doubting your own potential. So instead of shrinking and making it small, and then with every rejection kind of saying, oh, well, then I'll be okay with this kind of little square, do the opposite. That takes courage. It takes courage to say, nah, now, exactly now watch me do it. The other thing is that we can not value ourselves enough. We don't value our time. We don't value our energy. We don't value what we are contributing enough, because we've got that inherent maybe lack of self-worth inside of us. Here we go back to self-love again, right? So how worthy are you to you? How valuable is your time to you? You can also look at how am I spending my time? That would be a nice little exercise to do now. What are the top 3 time wasters that you can think of right now? Maybe they're people, maybe they're habits. How are you right now possibly wasting time? We all know that scrolling through our phones for hours on end is pretty much wasting time. We all know that worrying about the future is a waste of time. We also know that worrying about past events that are already gone and what they might have done is also a waste of time. So the best use of your time is to be where? Right here in the now, with an angle sort of view, like 20% viewing where you're going. So you've got the eagle eye of your intuition following the big plan picture. And you down here, you're just doing one breath at a time, one step at a time, staying conscious, staying now. And then it becomes very relaxed because everything can come to you because you're trusting, I'm attracting whatever I need. Make sense? And then the 5th mistake is we don't handle rejection well. So that's why I wanted to tap into that topic today so that we don't make those mistakes. Okay. So the 5 signs that we need a reset is we're dreaming too small, we're doubting our potential, we're lowering our standards to suit others, we're not valuing ourselves enough, and we're not handling rejection well. Those are the 5 signs. So if you have any of those as a yes, then this is your invitation to do something about that. You're doing something about it right now because you're in this Golden Goddess circle where we can do so much. But if you really want to reset, really do consider coming to Salzburg, to Austria for a day. And even if you're from Italy or you're somewhere in the European Union, it's not that far. And you can even get in a train or a car or a bus and come here. You can bring a friend and you can spend a day with me at this Lichtwerk, which today, Andrea, my Feng Shui master, was at the house and she says, you're ready for the master point. And we're going to do that next week. And that master point actually is only ever in monasteries, in really important power places, because this was hidden knowledge. So I feel so blessed to have a friend like that. So why I'm saying that is because even if I was not here, the moment you walk into this house, things will happen for you. It just is, the energy is so high here that even the biggest unbelievers, people who have no idea what I'm doing, come in here and they feel it. And I'll give you a great example for that because just last weekend, this one, I had 2 of my dearest girlfriends over and we were going to do, instead of going to Italy where we sometimes go, we're going actually in April, we said we're going to do the retreat here because we have such a beautiful paradise here. Why would we go into some hotel? We can do it here. So we decided to do our girls' weekend at this Lichtwerk. And on day 1, we were just hanging out. We did ear candles. You might have seen that on Instagram. And we were doing ear candles, and that takes about half an hour per person. So we were making sure everybody has their ear candles done. And we had 3 programs running on the biocharger. That's that frequency medicine machine that I have. 3 programs is a lot. You can do 45 minutes a day. That's what the company recommends. But, you know, it's a lot for the first time. But because I knew that both my friends are also using the Healy, they're used to frequency medicine and they're all healthy, right? So we did those programs. We had a great Indian delicious dinner in the evening. And of course, we did some muscle testing and some tapping and a bit of transformational work because that's who we are. Go to bed. I slept beautifully. My girlfriends purged all night. First, they thought purging means that they spend a lot of time on the toilet. And they both started at the same time in the night. They woke up at the exact same time and it all started. And although they woke up in the morning sort of saying, oh my God, Jai, what a night, they felt great. They said, you know, it felt as if I let go of a ton of stuff. And the next day, we all started with not only smiles in our faces, we did some yoga, we had drank our teas and coffees, and we had great conversations. And we could really notice how the 3 of us had shifted a timeline just by being together in this house and being conscious of our conversations, conscious of our breath, conscious of what we're doing. We then did some painting and some art craft. And my girlfriends went home and we were just chatting today and they said, you know, actually, we never need to go on vacation again. This is so amazing. We can create those settings, those get-togethers, those gatherings where magic happens just because it's 2 or 3 or 4, how many people gathering with one intention to help each other, to support each other, to keep growing, to keep expanding, to keep dreaming big. And I would love to invite you to do that with me here too. So if any part of you resonates with this, we currently have 7 spots left because I'm only taking 10 and I haven't done much marketing to this, but I would love to welcome you at this Lichtwerk and experience it for yourself so that you can experience that reset in your physical body, because there's only so much we can do up here. And I can't tell you how often in my coaching sessions, my clients will tell me, well, I know, and I know this is coming from that, and I know that's because of this. And I always say, I love that you know where it's coming from, but just knowing it is not changing anything, because otherwise you would have changed it. So we have to dig a little deeper if we want to actually create change. And to overcome that fear, it's very helpful to do that in a community. And that's another tip that the Stoics also bring. Marc Aurel says, connect in community. Have the courage to be that vulnerable, to say, hey, you know what? I need help in this subject. Could you help me here? And I'll help you there. And let's support each other. That's why we also intend here together, because that's how we're growing a vortex of support that we all need, especially in these times, and especially in the times that we're going into. So I hope I've triggered enough stuff in you, enough feelings. Tune into that feeling that has just come up for you. That may be a sense of discord, discomfort, or whatever it is that might be stopping you from really going for that reset and doing something very, very different to create a very, very different and up-leveled life that you so deserve. Breathe into that feeling. Maybe close your eyes. And notice where you feel that feeling in your body. And then notice how big that feeling is. On a scale from 0 to 10, what number would you give that feeling? And then just breathe in and out, just noticing. And if you are able to do a muscle test for yourself, some of you might, you can think of the feeling and then notice what happens to the muscle. You should go weak. If I were with you, and that's what we'll do at the retreat, I will test every single one of you so that you can't trick or bullshit me with your subconscious. So go ahead and test. When you tune into that feeling, what happens to your muscle? You'll go weak. That's the amount of stress, subconscious stress, that is created in your body when you just think of doing a reset or doing something different or handling rejection differently. Okay, now that you know where you are right now, let's set an intention to change that. So go ahead and close your eyes, roll them up as if you do, looking through the top of your head, and then say, even if I don't know how to transform this energy with all the beliefs and stories and programmings that go with it, to rewrite my story and integrate a new belief system that is aligned with my highest self and let go of this feeling. All I do know is it is so now. I delete, delete, delete all that could stop me. And I download everything I need to do so now with grace, ease, and joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it is, so it shall be, or something even better. One more breath. Open your eyes and then start tapping the top of your head and say, wherever this feeling is coming from, whoever gave it to me, wherever I picked it up from, that has me feeling less than worthy enough, less than capable enough, it's okay. Go to the temples, the sides of your eyes, and say, I now choose to let go of this feeling, to let go of the stories and beliefs and patterns that are connected with it. And I am now ready to embrace change, to see rejection as a redirection. And breathe. Come underneath your eyes. All the worries about what could go wrong, the worries of what other people could think, all the worry, I now let it go. And I tap into my confidence and my trust that all is unfolding perfectly. Yes, I believe in my potential. Tap above your lips, underneath your nose. I value myself enough to use this energy, this life force that I have to create the best life possible for myself and for those around me, because I am a vessel of inspiration and health and happiness and love and freedom. And every day, in every way, I choose to expand. And breathe. Tap underneath your lips and on your chin. I handle rejection really well. I see rejection as a redirection, and I ignore those who ignore me. It's okay because it helps me focus on myself, on my heart, on my live streams, on my energy. And I am using this energy for the good. And breathe. My value depends on how deeply I love myself, how deeply I value myself. And I now choose to value myself in all ways, on all levels, because I love myself. And I am so brave and so courageous and ready for this best life to unfold now with grace and ease and joy. Underneath your left arm, any sting of rejection is a fuel for self-growth. And I am choosing to grow and expand into my best version now. Thumbs. I demonstrate my value and I showcase my resilience. I stay undeterred towards the direction of my dreams every day, in every way. Setbacks are comebacks. Yeah, setbacks are comebacks. They're my launching pad for my wildest dreams and desires to unfold in the best way. And now tap your liver. Right side. I forgive myself for all the times that I chastised myself, I judged myself and others, and saw rejection as something personal. And now I realize rejection is a redirection towards my dreams, and I am worthy of those dreams. And I now give myself permission to every day in every way gracefully, easefully, and joyfully move towards my dreams. Yeah, that's who I am. That's what I do. And now breathe and connect your heart and your crown chakra. Bring in that divine force of the universe right from the center of this multiverse, from source, and say, I am ready now. I am willing and I am able to do a reset whenever I need, to handle rejection with grace, ease, and joy, and to manifest my best life now, filled with health and joy and love and success and peace and freedom and all my heart's desires unfolding gracefully. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And now check in with yourself and see, can you still find that feeling or has it gone now? I'm seeing some wide arms. You feeling good? Yes, something changed? Amazing. Good. Then I suggest let's intend, shall we? What if our intention is to handle any rejection with grace and see the blessings instantly? Experience the blessings What if our intention is to completely, immediately, and permanently handle any rejection with grace and experience the blessings and be happy, healthy, and well in every way? Do we like that? Don't we like that? Give me some head nods. Yes, okay. Our intention is to, thank you for those of you who are giving me the nods. Our intention is to completely, immediately, and permanently handle any rejection with grace and experience the blessings and to be happy, healthy, and well in every way. Our intention is to completely, immediately, and permanently handle any rejection with grace and experience the blessings and be happy, healthy, and well in every way. She got it. Thank you, sister. Okay, I'm going to remove the spotlight so we can all see each other. And I invite you to find your most comfortable position. Maybe take a sip of water after that tapping. Good work. And when you find your most comfortable position, make sure your spine and your neck are straight. You're nicely grounded. With our next 3 breaths, we drop into the space of our hearts, imagining we're all holding hands. And then from our hearts, we send the following intention. Our intention is to immediately, completely, and permanently handle any rejection with grace and to experience the blessing and to be happy, healthy, and well in every way. Our intention is to completely, immediately, and permanently handle any rejection with grace and experience the blessing and be happy, healthy, and well in every way. Our intention is to completely, immediately, and permanently handle any rejection with grace and experience the blessing and to be happy, healthy, and well in every way. Our intention is to completely, immediately, and permanently handle any rejection with grace and experience the blessing, and to be happy, healthy, and well in every way. And with your next breath, please come back into the here and now, knowing you've done awesome work for yourself and the good of this planet. Thank you so much for joining us tonight or today, if you're watching the replay. We will be sending the replay out and are very grateful if you then share that letter with your sisters, mothers, daughters, friends, so that we keep our Golden Goddess Circle as engaged and growing as we already are. Thank you also to those of you who are commenting on the YouTube replays or on my social posts. I really, really appreciate your support. So, my loves, thank you so much for making time today. And keep going strong, right? We're yes girls, and you've got this. Bye-bye, my loves.
Bye bye. Good night.
Bye, darling.